You will get calls
Mm,
saying, "Hey, I'm a friend of Betty.
yeah, absolutely.
You helped her. Do you know who I'm talking about?" And you're like, "Yeah." They're like, "I need your help." Welcome back, guys, to the insurance panel. Nick and I are prepared today. We knew we were going to talk about. We're
What?
not just winging it. Get ready. It's going to be a good one.
Crazy.
First of all, how's your Nick? How's your week, Nick? Not how's your Nick week?
I had a weird week. I run final expense leads, so I don't run into stuff like this that often, but I wrote 3 single premium policies and like $300,000 in annuities. Like,
Wow.
yeah, it was a real weird week. A lot of people with a lot of money. I'm just in kind of a strange area. I'm connecting 2 cities that I work in, so I'm kind of in like a suburban-y type of area, and I just people who are not final expense people sent those leads in. And so it is good to know how to talk to people about things other than final expense occasionally. Because
Yeah.
you know, I had
Well,
a lady.
I think, yeah. We had Dusty Edwards on, who is a single premium like mogul, if you will.
Sure.
If you haven't watched that, go watch that video. But just at least understanding what a single premium is, how to write a simple one, whether it be through one of your traditional final expense carriers, Royal Neighbors, Oxford, both have decent single premiums.
Did we actually have Dusty talking about single premium though? I don't think we did. So
no,
we should
didn't.
have him back on, and we can have a conversation about single premium.
That video will be up soon, guys. We don't know Dusty doesn't do single premium, but no, we had him talking about just how to door knock. But
yeah,
no, just as a final expense agent, you're going to run across every once in a while, a single premium, and every once in a while you're going to run across an annuity. I view it as the Forrest Gump thing, which is if you watch Forrest Gump, he made his riches doing what? Shrimp boat, right? He fished for a ton of shrimp. Every once in a while, you would see these big old like goober type fish in the nets. You, as a final expense agent, are casting your net wide, and you're trying to catch a lot of shrimp. Those are your $60 to $120 single premium final expense policies. And every once in a while, in casting your net, like Nick does, you'll run across an annuity or some single premiums, and those are nice when they come along. But
absolutely.
he's not sitting on his dock just fishing for that stuff.
No.
And some people do. You can make a ton of money just selling final expense, and every once in a while finding some other products.
It doesn't happen for me very often. Like, it's got to be a really specific situation. You know, I'm not a big fan of taking like $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 of cash value and rolling that into a single premium policy.
Well,
honestly, I'm not even a huge fan of using the reduced paid up option for people anymore. We can go into that in a future video because that's a long topic. And I don't want us to get off of our planned topic. But
that's right. I will talk to you about that.
Let's make a note, and we can bring that. But because I've got reasons why I used to be a big fan of using the reduced paid up, and I'm not anymore. And we can tease that for future videos.
Okay. But we'll
every now and then, I ran into a lady. The lady that I ran into had a universal life policy that was illustrated, on her statement. Best case scenario, this policy was going to last another 8 years. She was in perfect health. She was 70 years old. She had $30,000 of cash value in that policy. And she's like, well, shoot, I don't want this policy to only last another 8 years. And I'm losing like $7,000 of cash value a year. What do we do? And I said, well, have you heard of something called single premium life? And we talked about it. And she took the policy, and, and I just happened to run into, like, literally back to back, one appointment after the other, 2 women in literally the exact same situation.
I would be running that area for a little bit if I were you.
Yeah.
There was some guy, 20 years ago that was selling a really crappy UL policy.
Yeah. No, it was like one lady got her policy in like 1987, and the other lady got her policy during the Vietnam War when her husband was away at war. And she took out a life insurance policy on herself. Both same situation. Both, like, the second lady wasn't a universal life. Hers was hers was a New York Life whole life situation where, anyway, she had more, so she had so much cash value it was exceeding the original face value, and although she had dividends, the single premium policy that I sold also had dividends and pays a better dividend rate of return, and instantly gave her like $5,000 more life insurance than what she had even with the dividends. So yeah, also kind of a no-brainer for her. But
it's good money.
Yeah. And yeah. So weird week. Doesn't happen that often.
Well, that's what happens when you're a good final expense agent. If you're a good final expense agent, you could also be a really great Medicare agent.
You could. Got to be well-rounded.
Like the transition.
Yeah. I was trying to tee you up for that like 10 minutes ago.
But it's interesting. It's, it's, our editor told us like, hey, you guys need to stay on topic. And we're like, it's not what
it's hard.
It's really hard because it's all interesting. It's the whole show is predicated around just like two guys that would meet up at a bar talking about what we know and what we love, which is final expense insurance. Yeah. But I'm serious, guys. Like, this video should go up in September, maybe early October, and it is hunting season. It's Wabbit season. It is Medicare open enrollment season, right?
Yeah.
Everybody is losing their minds. Everybody's trying to get recruited. Everybody's trying to recruit, blah, 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 blah. But what Nick and I want to talk about today is why we think a final expense agent can transition into being a really good Medicare agent.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to nitpick because it drives me crazy. It's the annual enrollment period is coming up. Open enrollment is a different thing that happens in January.
It's January to March, right? Yeah, see, I'm still not health licensed, so I
you still don't have a license. But yeah, so the annual enrollment period is by the time this goes up, either here or going to be in a week or two. And if you're a final expense agent, and if and only if you can confidently hit your production goals every single week, 52 weeks a year, or however many weeks a year you plan to work. When you're in that situation where you're able to feel like you're confident about hitting your goals every week and you know how to sell final expense, you don't have to have it perfect. You just have to be good enough that you have that you can do it.
Right.
It frankly makes sense to learn about Medicare. Even if you don't want to sell it. Let's say you're not going to sell Medicare. Medicare is still going to be the single most important thing in every person that you speak to about final expense. It's going to be the most important thing in their life. It is they're either getting ready to go on it, they have family members that are on it, they are on it themselves. Even if they're under 65, Medicare typically is only for people over 65, or if you've been on disability for 2 years, and it has to actually be disability. A lot of times people will say they're on disability, but what they're really on is SSI, and it's a different thing, and you don't get Medicare then. But for everybody who is on Medicare, it is the single most important thing in their life. For everybody who is on Medicare and Medicaid also, they're almost all eligible to like put extra money in their pocket and have their lives be just so much easier if only they know you and you can get them into a program that will help them. Most people are overpaying for their Medicare supplement policies. Like the vast majority of people are overpaying for their Medicare supplement policies. The vast majority of people who have Medicare Advantage plans haven't reviewed their plans and are on old or outdated plans that don't have as many benefits as some of the new plans.
Or they're paying for a Medicare Advantage when they could be paying,
or they're paying, right?
Because they're on an old one, right?
Yeah, because they're on an old one. You know, and what happens to people when they're on old plans is the plans can change, and one of the things they're allowed to change is whether or not you get charged a premium, right? And so, or they're on a prescription drug plan and they're paying like so much money out of their pocket for a prescription just because they're on the wrong prescription drug plan. And if they moved from, Humana to Aetna or whatever, they moved Humana to SilverScript, or something and changed the formulary level or changed the tier level of one of their medications, it would save them thousands of dollars a year, money that you could frankly help them put towards life insurance. But also it will make them love you if you can help them understand their Medicare, because it is so important to all of them and it is so complicated that none of them understand it, and they get fed so much misinformation. Even if you're not selling it, if you can just help them understand what's going on, they will love you forever.
And it'll solidify your business.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. You will be their agent forever. Now, if you can also sell it, then you make a little bit of money off of it. But that's all of that to say, if you are a working final expense agent, you've got a little bit of time in the industry, you feel comfortable that you know how to hit your goals every week, you should start learning about Medicare, because you have to be able to have that conversation. Now, why you're going to be the best Medicare agent in the world is a slightly different topic. So, Matthew, let me ask you, would you say you're fairly good at selling things?
Yes, I am extremely awesome at selling anything. I can sell anything, I think, at this point.
Mm-hmm. Good at building trust rapidly?
Yes.
Making people believe you when you tell them you know stuff?
Even when I don't know stuff.
Even if you don't know, they believe that you know when you say that you know, right? Would you say that most people that you meet in general want to or do not want to discuss life insurance?
Do not want to.
Right. Are you good at getting them to talk to you about life insurance anyway?
Absolutely.
Okay. So with all of those skills that you have that you developed selling final expense, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly, right?
The majority of it, yes.
Yeah, maybe you probably brought some skills to the table, but what you do is sell final expense. Those skills got honed that way, right?
Right.
So if I told you that you could deal with the exact same people that you're dealing with right now, literally the same people.
The same leads.
Same leads, the same person. Okay. And instead of them not wanting to talk about life insurance and them not really being all that motivated to do anything because it's not really all that important to them, and them not really trusting you because life insurance agents are sleazy and you needing to build trust. What if I told you you could talk to that exact same person and they would be saying, hey, oh, I actually need to know about this. Would you please talk to me about this? Would you please show me how this works? Could you give me some help because I need help? And they will literally say those things to you.
Yes.
Would you be able to write business with every single person that you sit down and talk to?
1,000%.
Yeah. So that's what it's like to sell Medicare. If you're a final expense agent, you are talking to people that you have all of these skills that you've built up, learning how to be persuasive, learning how to be assumptive, learning how to build trust, learning how to build rapport, learning how to be informative but concise, learning how to close, frankly.
Learning how to stay on path. Yeah.
Because you're dealing with people who are naturally resistant to even wanting to talk to you in the first place. And then you take away all of that resistance.
You become incredible.
You're going to be like, you're going to be like the Terminator. Right?
You're going to be like Neo when he figured out he was the one.
Yes, exactly. It becomes like the Matrix, and it's just you're just closing everybody.
Yeah.
For a final expense agent who is selling Medicare, if you are good at selling final expense, you go from, closing a really good agent, closing 25 to 30% of their leads, to you're closing like 70 or 80%, because everybody wants to talk to you about Medicare, and every person you sit down and talk to is Medicare. It's more complicated than that. There's stuff that you got to do, right? And CMS puts rules and regulations that make it a little bit harder for you to do this in like full-on Terminator mode.
But it's so worth it. Doesn't matter what you got, whatever hoop you got to jump through, or whatever scope you got to get signed, it is totally 1,000%, 100% worth it, right?
And all it is learning the rules. And once you know the rules, you can use the rules to your advantage. You know, same way you do with life insurance, same way you do with final expense. The biggest downside is learning about Medicare. Because I mean, the same reason that everybody wants you to help them, because they don't understand Medicare.
It is confusing.
It's going to be your obstacle too. You got to learn what all the initials and abbreviations and acronyms and everything means, and all the dates and time frames, and there's a lot.
But even like, I'll even say this: I don't have a health license, and I get open enrollment and annual enrollment mixed up.
Right.
But just being a final expense agent, even without my health license, I already know quite a bit about Medicare, because I've sat with the people. They've talked to me about their Medicare. They showed me the red, white, and blue card, their effective date. They showed me what plan they're on. They've showed me everything that I need to know. I just don't know how to put it all together.
Right.
That's where you need the training, but
that's the stuff you really need to know anyway as a final expense agent, right?
Yes.
Like, you need to be able to talk to people about their low income subsidy, right?
Yes.
Because it affects their budget and their income, right? And that's something that you need to know.
Yeah. I believe this. So direct mail is king, right? Mm-hmm. Running final expense leads is the bee's knees when you're running final expense.
Absolutely.
But if you can be a final expense agent and learn how to run LIS, or low income subsidy leads,
mm-hmm.
and learn how to sell final expense off of that,
mm-hmm.
you will learn so much about Medicare. It's insane. That was almost stupid for you not to have your health license. And then the transition, and then the transition is even easier. My younger brother, perfect example. He mm-hmm. ran exclusively just final expense leads.
Mm-hmm.
I told him, well, I didn't tell him not to get his health. You can get your life and health in South Carolina. He just got his life for whatever reason. Just the same way I did. We're both idiots.
Dummies.
And he said,
everybody go get your life and health together. Like,
yes.
if you're not licensed yet, go get them together.
Don't get them to separate. Anyways, don't do like Matthew. But he only ran final expense leads for like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then the later half of the year, we introduced him to LIS, or low income subsidy. And because he was already, fighting in the matrix, he was already doing final expense well enough. When he had the door opener or the phone call of, I want to be able to help you with your low income subsidy,
mm-hmm.
the doors were open. The same people that filled out cards that ghosted him
mm-hmm.
for a final expense were calling him and saying, why are you not here yet?
Yeah. Because they want to talk about it. They want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Now, I prefer, personally, this is preference. I prefer running a final expense. That's me.
There's a personal preference with everybody.
Yeah. But I can absolutely see how running a lead saying, hey, we're here to help you find out whether or not you qualify to have $148.50 waived off of your, bills. I can totally see the value in that. It's people want to know if they qualify. I mean, listen, if you watch daytime TV, if you're a final expense agent and you have a DVR, I'm not going to assume that everybody does. Who doesn't these days? But I'm not going to assume everybody does. DVR some daytime television, like a block of from 1:30 to 3:30, and then just watch the commercials and watch every Medicare commercial that comes on and see what they're talking about on those Medicare commercials. Because what they're talking about extra help benefits.
Yep.
They don't call it that. They say you can save $144 on your Medicare. I don't know why 144, because that's not the Medicare Part B premium, but that's what they say. Probably because they're getting around some sort of regulation by not I don't really know. But they're going to say you can get access to dental benefits and vision benefits and
rides to doctors.
We're going to give you rides to doctors, and we're going to give you food and all this sort of stuff. The reason why these commercials are hitting these points is because this is stuff that people want to talk about.
Yeah.
And those commercials are much like the old Alex Trebek commercials. They're a little bit bait and switchy. They're not really super honest. They're offering things that are only maybe it only really exists in one county in like South Dakota, and like they're broadcasting this whole commercial nationally. But if you see the kind of things that they're talking about, the reason they're talking about those things is because they're things that get our people super excited. You know, and so if you're using those things as a door opener, at least now in, you know, September of 2021, the trust is not broken on that yet. Those are still good topics. Now, realistically, I think we got maybe a year before people start getting wise and start feeling like talking about all that stuff is a little sleazy, because the commercials are killing it really rapidly.
Commercials are killing it.
But for now, those are good door openers. If somebody's giving you static, it's so easy to help somebody apply for extra help. It takes literally 5 minutes.
And here's the reason why I love it and my younger brother loves it, is because applying for the extra help on the form, it is going to ask, tell me about your bank accounts, tell me about your checking accounts, give me your social security number. Do you have a 401k? Do you have a TSP? They're like, no, I don't have any of that. And you go, do you have life insurance? And they go, yes, I have one of those things that you're saying. Okay.
Is it for burial expense?
Is it for a burial?
Yeah, it's on the form.
Yes, it's on the form. Yes. Okay, great. Is it going to be for burial? And how much cash value is it? Who is it with? I have no idea I don't know the answer to that. But I have X company. Mm-hmm. Great, run and grab the policy. We need to put it on here to make sure it's all proper for the form. The same people, when a final expense agent walks into a house and they say, hey, let me see your life insurance policy, the client clams up because they don't want you to get something that they've been paying for 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
But if you are coming in from a help standpoint and legitimately trying to help them, because you need to know that information.
Yeah.
When you call and you find out what's going on with their policy, you will find loans, you will find UL policies that are single premium ready. You will find all of these things. And they open up the book and they want to talk to you about that stuff then. And then you finish the application with them. You do it online. You can do it on a paper form. Dusty talks about doing it on paper. I don't know if you do use the website.
I use the website. I try not to carry paper with me.
I like to do the website because it is a government website. It is like, this is the website. I'm not the guy. I'm filling out your information with you here,
right?
Helping you apply for this.
And you can legitimately and legally say, listen, we have to do this now while I'm here because I'm not allowed to do this for you if I'm not sitting with you, because you're not.
Correct.
1 second. So hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
My daughter just came home from school, so I'm trying to make sure the dogs weren't going to be barking and stuff. I don't know. We're like half an hour in. If you want to cut this out, Ryan, cut it out. It might be entertaining. Who knows? I think it's probably boring.
Nick's, but what's his name? Said that we should need more of Nick's dog on a comment. I think it was Burke. I think it was Burke.
If my dog comes in, dogs and cats will show up periodically.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it is. I mean, SSA.gov/extra help. You don't need to be health licensed to help them fill out an extra help form. It's not a thing that you need to worry about. It is a thing that will genuinely help them, and it, like, literally, it takes 5 minutes. It's very, very easy to fill it out.
And you'll start to learn the limits of certain states that you're running in. And if you know those limits, you're going to know pretty much by the time you get done filling that form if someone's going to qualify for those benefits.
Yeah. So should that take over as the way that you sell final expense? I don't do that. But if you get stuck, that's a nice tool to have in your arsenal, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, you can, and people have built entire careers out of just that. You know, you use extra help as a door opener, because Because if you run into a person who you've helped apply for LIS, extra help, same thing. If you, I would recommend always referring to it as extra help. LIS,
Yes.
there's a whole thing.
Yeah.
But if you help somebody get approved for extra help who qualifies for it and didn't already have it, which happens to more people than you would expect. It's supposed to happen automatically, but often doesn't, especially with people who are under 65 and people who don't file taxes because they don't really make any money. And so they don't technically have to. If you get them actually qualified, they will love you forever. They will call all of their friends.
Yes.
They will tell everybody they've ever met that, oh my God, this guy put $148.50 back in my check every single month. Like, I am $148 a month richer.
You will get calls saying, hey, I'm a friend of Betty.
Yeah, absolutely.
You helped her. Do you know who I'm talking about? And you're like, yeah. They're like, I need your help. You don't really get that as a final expense agent.
Not often.
Not very often.
No.
As often as single premiums come along.
Yeah. I mean, it happens, but it doesn't happen a lot. It's a big deal. Like, I mean, like, I don't know, like, people will bake you cakes. Like, I'm serious. Like, it's a big deal to these people if you manage that. Because, I mean, if you think about it, to qualify for extra help, you have to be making less than $1,500 a month. Right?
Yep.
Before everything starts getting taken out.
Right.
So you're probably living off of closer to $1,200 or $1,300 a month for the whole month. And if you can get them from $1,200 or $1,300 to actually, $1,450, like you,
and that's money that's money they haven't seen in a long time.
It's a huge amount of extra money.
Yeah.
Proportionately, that's a gigantic percentage of extra money going into their check. You've just given them a gigantic pay increase. They will love you forever. So at the very least, learn how extra help works, learn how to talk to people about it, learn how to help them out with it, because it'll be huge for your career. And it'll be huge for all your clients. So I think that's a little bit off topic of why
maybe not. It's talking about how to sell. It's talking about more how to use extra help. But if you're a final expense agent and you're selling successfully, and successfully for you could be, I mean, $2,500 a week, with $3,000 a week, whatever it is. If you're not worried about cash flow, and you can see the exact same people, and the people will absolutely love you for it. You're going to retain more business. And if you suck, and you will when you start, you might sell 2 a week.
Man, if you can sell 2 a week, you are outperforming 90% of all Medicare agents in the country.
Yes.
And if you suck, you probably will sell 2 a week if you're a final expense agent.
If you suck, and you will, right? And you will, and that's okay. I see what I don't like about social media, and I'm a big social media guy, is I see so many people talking about $400 a year, $100 a month, $50 a month, whatever the case is, and I'm like, man, if these people just realized that they had to do 10 a month, 10 policies a month, your life will be forever changed. Years 2, 3, and 4. I
mean, like, it's like, so yeah, Medicare is about renewal income, like, a lot. And I have to look up what the national numbers are, because in Pennsylvania, you make more money on Medicare.
And in New Jersey, I think.
In New Jersey and California, you make even more money than we do in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So let me look up what the national numbers are. But for 2022, nationally, if somebody's never had a Medicare Advantage plan before, and you sell them a Medicare Advantage plan, you're going to make $573.
Yeah.
If you're in Pennsylvania, it's 646. If you're in New Jersey and California, it's 715. It's actually Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C., and Connecticut, 646, and then California and New Jersey are 715. But more importantly, after you, if they've been on Medicare previously, you know, you'll make nationally, most people are going to make $287 right up front. You know, $287 switching them from one Medicare Advantage plan to another. Okay. But then more important than that, you make that every year for the rest of your life, as long as you stay certified and compliant in AHIP and you do all the things and you jump through all the hoops. So you're going to be making about $24 a month, every month, per client that you have, right? So if you have 120 clients, 10 a month, right? You're going to make $2,870 a month, every month, starting the beginning of year 2. You'll get a check deposited into your account for $2,870 every month.
And if you've been watching our videos, I don't want to cut you off, but if you've been watching our videos, you should be spending about that much on leads.
Hey, free leads.
It is free leads year 2.
Yeah. You know, you do that again, 10 a month again. And now you're getting a check deposited for $5,740 every month in year 2. Every month. Just you wake up every month, you know, on the first of the month, you get a deposit for $5,740. Right? It's a $68,000 a year increase because you're selling 2 to 3 Medicare Advantage policies a week. You just added a $68,000 base salary to your life. Guess how much base salary I was offered when I was at my captive company to go be a manager?
$32,000.
I was offered as a base salary exactly $70,000 to be a manager at my old captive company. I had to go move to Delaware to do it, which I didn't want to do. Go move to Southern Delaware too. Like I couldn't have even commuted it. But one of many reasons why I chose not to. But $70,000 as a base salary is more than
most
people in your state make. Full stop. You know, do that again for 2 years, and you got $140,000 a year as a base salary.
There's going to be some fall off.
Yeah, of course,
but not much.
No, there's a ton of persistency to Medicare. There's a ton.
Plus, if you're selling a final expense and a Medicare policy,
well, shoot, right?
They're going nowhere.
Selling a final expense and a Medicare policy. I mean,
and I guarantee you, this is what happens. Okay, and this, you guys, we're not trying to sell you on doing Medicare. We are.
No,
sell Medicare. But if you are a final expense client and you're an agent and you're not selling Medicare, somebody else will come behind you and sell them a Medicare.
Yep.
And when they do, and they do it compliantly, the life insurance will come up. And that client's going to go, yeah, the guy never comes by. He sold me the policy. I haven't seen him since.
Uh-huh.
And I want a review, or I want more, or something. And you're missing other sales opportunities by not being a full service agent.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, and so, I mean, we've mentioned it on the show before, like during COVID, I decided that if we ever went back to a full down lockdown, I could not do telesales. And so I put in place as my plan B, I opened up a Medicare agency. And so we've talked a lot more about Medicare since that happened. You know, also the agency that Matt works for is pushing big into Medicare. A lot of these final expense IMOs are pushing big into Medicare. There's a lot of reasons for that. I feel ways about some of them, but we won't get into it. But it's not difficult once you get over that initial hump.
No.
And the reason I chose to open up a Medicare agency instead of going off and open up a final expense agency is because that seemed to be the hole in the market, you know, that that seemed to be the thing that I could do, because I've been doing Medicare for almost a decade at this point. And there are not a lot of resources for people who are final expense agents who want to sell Medicare. And so it is kind of tricky. No, I do not want to take anybody who's watching this on as my agent unless I already know you. I think I've got all the agents I can handle at the moment. But I do think it's important. I think it's a really important thing to learn. Call up, 1-800-Medicare and get yourself a copy of the Medicare and You guidebook. Even if you don't have a health license, even if you're not going to sell Medicare.
Just know it.
It's just stuff you got to know. It's too important. Just like you need to understand how Social Security benefits work and what the difference between disability and SSI and all of that, who gets paid on what day and how to figure out what Wednesday somebody gets paid on. Like, you need to know all this stuff. This is just
That's part of your job.
Yeah.
It's the career path you chose. You're an insurance agent. So go out, Matthew Murray, and get your health license.
Yeah.
And learn, because you're going to be, I promise you, if you're a final expense agent or watching this, you're like, I don't know. Once you do it, you're going to come back and you're going to comment on this video and you're going to go, you guys are right. I am crushing it. I am doing 15 or 20 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And you may come back 2 years from now, 3 years from now and go, Nick, I've got a $75,000 base salary because I watched the video, I made the leap, and I crush it in a home. And I'm selling more final expense. And my premiums are higher than they were before.
Yeah.
It'll make everything easier for you as a final expense agent if you learn a little bit about Medicare or start selling Medicare.
Yeah.
That's the end of the video, but I had a really cool story.
Yeah, tell the story. This is a good story.
It is a good story. I didn't really get to tell you because I was like, anyways. So we have this multi-YouTube channel. I have 1,300, 1,400 subscribers. I have no idea. If you're subscribed, you're awesome. But we never know how many people are actually watching. And Nick and I don't get paid at all.
No.
We've lost money on the deal.
Lots of money, actually.
We have lost money on the deal. It helps on our taxes because it's a I'm just kidding. But we love doing it. Okay. And I had a lady that reached out to me on Facebook. I've never met her before, blah, blah. And it happens all the time because I post a lot on Facebook and I get messages. And I thought, oh, cool, another message. And she says, hey, I have been watching your videos for a long time. And what you did pushed me over the edge to go buy Justin Thomas's course.
Nice.
And
that is awesome. That is very awesome.
Yeah. And she was like, you and Nick have been quintessential to me in the insurance business. And I just wanted to thank you. I found you on Facebook and I just wanted to thank you.
That is so cool.
And I was like, that's awesome. But then I saw that she lives in Wilmington, North Carolina. I live in Wilmington, North Carolina. To which I said, do you live in Wilmington? Because our office is located right across from the Target. And she goes, I live 3 minutes from your office.
Nice.
And that day she came in and she was like, oh my, I cannot believe it. The universe is aligning. It is Matthew Murray. Blah, she was like fangirling almost. And I was like, it's okay. Like, you're awesome. And she was like, no, you don't understand. She was like, you and Nick got me through. I've watched you guys for the longest time. And like, I really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because you guys have done so much for the industry. And I was like, that is super sweet and awesome. But I would have never known had she's never commented. She is subscribed. She's never emailed us or anything, but I would have never known if she hadn't reached out.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's
so Kelly is her name. Hi, Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
From Wilmington and then from PA. What part of PA do you live in?
So I live in North Wales, Pennsylvania. It's a suburb of Philadelphia.
Okay, cool. From North Wales and from Wilmington. Hey, Kelly. Really appreciate you being a fan. And to any of those else watching, you guys are awesome. You're the reason that makes us want to do this every once in a while, that we get those little interactions of people saying like, thank you.
Yeah.
Or the emails or any comments, any stuff like that, just helps us like motivate to do it more. Because if we've impacted 1 or 2 people a year, to me,
that's huge.
that like fills my heart, and I want to do more. So please do more of that. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah, seriously. Awesome. Let us know, because like we don't get paid, and that's really the only payment that I want from this. But knowing that this is helping folks, and that that's huge. That is a super awesome story.
Yeah, it is really cool. So again, thanks again, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. See you guys.
Bye.